Friends, many moons ago, there were 3 V-Series Cadillacs. Then there was 1. Today we are given a second V-Series Cadillac, but unlike any other we have experienced before. As such, I feel you and I need to go and find out why on the road and the track. But first, there's a launch control, so let's put this thing up to 3,500, let it kick in, drop the clutch. Oh, nice!
Behind me is the all-new Cadillac LF4 Twin Turbo V6 engine. It's 3.6 liters, it's 464 horsepower, 445 pound-feet of torque. Inside each turbine is a turbine vane. And we went ahead and we came up with a composite material that is aluminide titanium. It's got 51% of the rotating inertia of a typical aluminum turbine, and that allows us to spin it up faster. This engine at peak boost operates at 18 PSI.
This is an interesting point. Coming around this is a nice sweeper you can do in 3rd gear. It really demonstrates the engine of this thing. It screams. It's a V6, it's got some grunt to it. It's such a dual personality. It's got so much liveliness to it. I wouldn't expect that from a Cadillac. Like the CTS-V, you guys remember when we drove that thing? That was a lot of fun, but it didn't have like the peakiness of this engine. This demonstrates this engine. Listen to this thing. I'm what, 5? Almost 5 again, going over 5, almost 6 in a turbocharged 6-cylinder engine. That's like almost VTEC territory. Let's go down to 2nd. And notice, I downshifted there, what, at 45, 50 to 2nd gear in a Cadillac. God, Dave, he is a nut job, that man. But, mad scientist, I love.
The primary transmission in this vehicle is the all-new General Motors 8-speed, the 8L90. This has a 7-to-1 overall gear ratio from 1st gear to 8th, translated into 3 to 4% improvement in fuel economy. We have a 258 millimeter torque converter, and this transmission is 12.5 kilograms or 27 pounds lighter than the 6-speed it replaces. You know what? I know from MotoMan there are certain guys like him, stuck in the past that insist on having a manual. Well, just for him, we designed in a 6-speed manual. This 6-speed manual, though, is just no ordinary manual. We have a new characteristic called no lift shift. This is a feature where you can maintain peak boost in the engine by leaving your right foot planted and making those shifts as quick as you want. Now, you still need to use the clutch, but you don't need to back off the throttle.
Okay, let's get some speed up here. I'm gonna go to 3rd gear because we got 2 turns kind of back to back, but we can go through this one in 3rd and then really pour it on in 4th, but we gotta set ourselves up here. Now this is the back straight. This is what this track is famous for. Let's go down to 2nd. Let's try this no lift shift thing. My brain just doesn't want to do it, but here we go. 3rd gear, I'm not pulling my foot up. 86, 4th gear, 99, 5th gear, 117, 19, 25. Okay, 30, 32, we got a break. Let's start downshifting. People, we're going 132 miles an hour in the baby Cadillac. The baby Cadillac! So I kind of feel like I got nothing to do today because Dave is doing all the technical stuff, so I got to find all the obscure stuff to talk about on this thing. Last night, I had dinner with 2 of the engineers on this project. Super cool guys because they race cars on their own time with their own money, which tells you these are the right guys to be fooling with things like this. Anyway, we had a raging debate over intercoolers. This is how exciting my life is. Anyway, are they intercoolers? Are they heat exchangers, air exchangers, whatever they're called? There are 3 of them here. There's one here, there's one here, and there's one here. Oh, by the way, Steve-O Barnes, I love your comments. on the preview film, the Count Intercooler. I'm gonna stick with that name. Anyway, I digress. So the debate was this, is it possible with more air or cooling the air that comes into the engine to get more boost? Because Dave's already told us 18 pounds of boost. And the answer is no, and here's why. The intercoolers are designed to reliably deliver 18 pounds of boost or 464 horsepower or 445 pound-feet of torque in no matter what the environment is. So let me give you an example. We are standing here in the hill country of Texas where it is like soup right now. But let's say I were to take this vehicle in October to Laguna Seca where it is like 40 degrees. The same car could deliver the same figures reliably, even on different levels of fuel. So like the octane here is a little bit higher than what we get in California. So it's all a function of lowering or keeping the air temperature to a certain level in order to deliver the performance figures no matter where the car exists. Do you remember in the CTS-V, it had effectively a two-stage suspension in it? Well, Dave has completely swapped that system for something that has two types of adjustments. So you can adjust the overall character of the car, and then you can drill down into one specific point of the car. So let me clarify, you've got a cascading menu here, but where the Tour, the Sport, and the Track adjust engine mapping, throttle mapping, and transmission mapping, this next cascading menu is all a function of stability mode. So I engage it by double-clicking the traction off button here. Now, we haven't turned the traction off. What we do here, it gives us 5 choices. We've got wet, dry, Sport 1, Sport 2, and race. Now, obviously, when you get into those later parts of the cascading menu, it shuts off your traction control, not 100%, but really what you're doing is you're completely raising the limits when you get into track mode, and then you can drill down to stability mode. Okay, so we got a nice sweeper here in 3rd gear. Man, that is flat. This is a Cadillac, people. You know, this is what, 3,500, 3,600 pounds, and this thing has a really nice flat balance around the track. I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest with you, because when you look at it, you wouldn't expect it to be that way. I must admit, this road and track thing does get me a bit hungry. You know the old saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans. But in this case, let's do as the Texans. Okay, so I know we're incredibly excited about 464 horsepower and an F1 racetrack, but truth be told, I'm kind of more excited for this, and this is the Salt Lick Barbecue. Specifically, this is like Command Central at Salt Lick Barbecue. I've been coming here for like years, from the days when I first came to Austin, Texas. But let me introduce you to the menu here. So you've got chicken, beef ribs, turkey, sausage, beef brisket, which is the bomb, pork ribs, and then on Sundays used to have a special thing that was pulled pork. Now that's every day. So this is the whole menu. But this thing, you know, we're car guys, we like technical things. This looks like a normal barbecue pit. It's not. This thing is very specific. Like, for example, the temperatures are all different. Over on the far side, it's 180 degrees. Here, it's about 225. And over here, this is the hottest part of the grill. This is 275. And the way they control it is with the wood here. So you can see the natural wood here. And this is Jaime. He's the grill master. Jaime's been the grill master of this joint for 17 years, but before him, his father, Carmen, was the grill master for like 30 years?
Yeah, bro, just about.
And his brother is the grill master at the one down in Round Rock. So like, super family deal. But anyway, back to the technical stuff. So you take the wood here, and they adjust the temperature by the amount of wood that's in the pit. So notice at the end there isn't as much wood here as there is in the front. But then how do you adjust for a flare-up? You've got this here. This is pecan shells in water, and basically you throw it on the grill, and what it does, or really you throw it on the wood, and it lowers the temperature, but it does something else. This, combined with the homemade sauce, which is a vinegar-based sauce, so Apologies to any of you in South Carolina. It's a vinegar-based sauce here. Long and short of the story, the sauce drips onto the wood, and then the wood, the sauce, and the pecan shells literally reincarnate themselves into the meat to get the specific taste. Now, speaking of the meat, check this out. So this is the brisket over here. This thing is called a decal, and it's called a decal because it's really a piece of fat. So what Jaime and his father do, they keep the decal to the hottest part here, and it literally, the fat seeps off of the meat onto the wood, thus the tasting again. And then as the fat goes away, they put it over here, and it becomes brisket like this. I don't want that to fall and have them lose some inventory here, but you can see this is actually the brisket you would get served without any fat. Then there's the sausage. Notice the sausage is up here. It hangs up here for about an hour and a half, and then Jaime and Carmen, they take it and they put it down on the grill, and then they wait for the skin to start to separate, and that's when they serve it. Now, speaking of serving, I need to go eat, but it's not just barbecue here, it's pecan pie. Let's roll back to 2013 when we first drove this car. I personally was blown away by the platform. And the reason why, if you look at Mercedes-Benz like back up until like the 70s and 80s, they engineered cars to a standard, not a price. I would argue that they're doing it again today, especially when you get into like the S-Class. Cadillac and General Motors, they've been around for years. I mean, like 50 years. But then Cadillac with the ATS, after a bankruptcy, they come out with this platform, which completely rewrote the rule book. They decided to build a car that had this driving dynamics because they put so much effort into like Swiss cheese of aluminum, details like that, or the way they took weight out by the gram. But then the interior, it just completely fell flat. And not because of the design. The design is pretty cool, it's just the materials. Like even here, you've got faux suede and faux leather, and the stitching here, it looks okay, but it doesn't feel great. It's the pieces that need to change. Like for example, these seats, they're optional, like $2,000, and I would say you need these seats in this car, yeah, because they're Recaros, and they're much more grippy when you're going on a track. But I was talking to two of the engineers last night, and they were telling me when they got the Recaros originally from Recaro, that GM wanted to spend even more time to detail them, to make them better for their specific car. That's the kind of logic. I mean, Recaros come off the factory line, awesome. That's why people buy them not as OEM stuff. So here they've tuned the Recaros. I think that's what needs to happen here. Like, don't try so hard to give me all these different pieces. Make it simple, make it work. And I think that's when people will take this car more seriously, where they take the logic of these Recaros or that platform and apply it to the interior. So in summary, what do we got? Well, friends, in this case, I do not need to leave you with a lot of platitudes because Dave and his crew have built a world-class performance sedan. There is no other way to put that. Yeah, it needs a world-class interior, but really what they have done from design to execution of making an already strong platform stronger and an engine that is unlike anything else we have driven from Cadillac before, really GM, it's something really special to behold. Now, with that, I'm going to leave you with a question that's not so special, it's rather ordinary. Which of this segment now would you choose? And this is a very fast-changing segment. Think about it, you've got this now new ATS-V, you've got the new Mercedes-Benz C63, you've got the RCF. Now granted, you do have the aging Audi, the S4, but that's probably going to change shortly as well. So which one you would choose and why would you choose it? Let us know in the comments below or via our social media, MotoManTV all one word, MotoManTV all one word. But you know what? I think I want to shake this up a little bit further. Don't just tell me which one and why. Tell me what region of the world you live in, because at the end of the day, it's all about them intercoolers. So here's the script. Click here to subscribe, click here to watch one of our 350 other episodes, and most importantly, share us with your friends. You're already wasting half your life on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. MotoManTV, all one word. I don't care who you share us with. Share us with your enemies. Just give the gift of MotoMan.